All right, what's up, guys? So, in today's video, I want to help you tackle your burnout. So, I felt this appropriate because, to be 100% transparent, the past couple weeks, I've actually been burning out myself. I've noticed my mind and my body are pretty lethargic. I've noticed I've been slower to answer my clients. I've been slower to deliver all the photos and videos I'm supposed to be delivering to them. And I've noticed that my body and my mind have been just simply asking me for a break. And it's been pretty interesting because I'm actually somebody who's used to always going at like 8 or 9 speed throughout life. Even though every morning I spend 30 minutes in meditation, I'm pretty frequent at the gym. I do things that are healthy. But when I really sat down, I asked myself, like, how many times do I just allow myself to be nothing, right? Allow myself to just be a blob on the couch. And honestly, it doesn't happen as frequent as I think it should. So I want to just mention like a few things I've been doing to help myself with this burnout. And my hope says it helps you because it's not easy, especially if you have a very demanding job or you have a family or honestly you're just living life. Being burnt out and trying to force your way through things is incredibly difficult. And honestly, it never really leads to anything good. There's this culture that we have when it comes to working, and people often say, well, you need to hustle harder, you need to grind, you need to just put in that 12 hours. But if your body and your mind are yelling at you the whole time to sit down and take a break, then eventually it's going to backfire. I don't think you need to grind your way through life. That's not really my philosophy. I think you need to flow your way through life. You need to find a way to move intuitively and listen to life force. And if the life force is telling you to slow down, I'd highly suggest that you slow down, because forcing yourself is only going to lead to something bad, maybe a sickness, or, life will correct itself somehow, some way. I don't think life necessarily ever punishes us. I just think it corrects us. And if your body and mind are yelling at you to slow down, try slowing down. So really this burnout started like about a week and a half ago, and I started noticing it. So I want to talk about the three things I did to basically just pull myself out of it. And I wouldn't say I'm 100% out of it, but I'm starting to feel a lot better. Um, so the first thing I did was I started saying no. This was just like simple demands that clients would ask me for. I would be slower to respond. I would start making more space in my schedule. So I'm a full time videographer and photographer. And some people would reach out and they're like, can you do the shoot tomorrow? And I'm like, no, I can do it on like Thursday, which would be 2 days from now. So I started just creating gaps for myself to breathe, right? I started saying no, or maybe if I can't say no, which obviously if a client hits me up, I'm not going to just be like, no. But I was like, hey, I can do it on this day. Is that okay? And I was just got in the mindset of like, oh, okay, I'm just willing to let that take some time. In the industry I work in is very high pace and rushing environment. It's very demanding. And what I've realized is like if I don't hold on the brakes, then it's like I'm forced into moving at their speed. And what I've realized is that the more I take control and say things like no, or I can do it on this day, and the more I stand my ground on it, it's like the more space I give my mind and body to start resting. So that's my first piece of advice is schedule your days off. Start saying no. You're not a machine. You're not meant to work forever. You need rest. So I want to talk about the second thing that I did. And this is going a little bit more into the macro. So I started thinking a lot about work in general, because every time I hit a little bit of a burnout, it always ends up being a beautiful blessing at the end of the day because it offers me a lot of transformation. It's a time to pull on the brake, sit down, reflect, and just look around and ask yourself, am I building the life that I want? I saw this beautiful quote on this YouTube comment, and the quote said, burnout doesn't happen when you're building, sorry, and the quote said, burnout doesn't happen when you're working hard. Burnout happens when you're building a life you do not want. And when I read that, I was like, oh my God, that's literally how I've been feeling. I've been feeling like I've been building this business, but my heart's not really in it. And honestly, it's pretty scary to realize that, right? It's scary to realize that, dude, I don't actually like what I'm doing. Um, but it's better that you realize it early than never, right? It could be years of damage to your mind and body and your spirit before you realize it. Like, I think the earlier you realize that, the better. And for myself, I started realizing, like, dude, I'm not really fulfilled in my work. There's this thing I also heard on a podcast is like the three F's of having a career. You want fulfillment, you want freedom, and you want finances. And we try to constantly optimize for all three. I got that from Ali Abdel. Actually, great quote. I really like that. But when I was thinking about it for myself, I was like, oh, okay, I have finance, but I definitely don't have fulfillment. And I wouldn't say I necessarily have freedom either because I'm always having to, do something with work. So now I know that like I have some clarity around it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, how can I start optimizing for these two? And I just started. I'm in a position where like, dude, I have a kid coming, so I'm not about to just quit my job or anything like that. I can't do anything crazy like I used to when I was in my early 20s. But I started asking myself, okay, well, how can I optimize for the other two immediately? And I started outsourcing more work. Um, I started trying to journal a little bit more and do some contemplation and ask myself, okay, well, what brings me fulfillment? And honestly, what brings me fulfillment is making videos like this and offering you guys value because I love helping people. I love working with people one on one. So I also even started like offering like a one-on-one coaching service because I love working with other entrepreneurs to help them get out of burnout and to regulate and come back into their heart center. I love doing spiritual work and meditation work because it's been something I've been doing for 10 years. And it's also something like I like to do, right? It's something I want. So I figured, you know what? I can help other people come into this space inside of themselves as well. That wasn't a sales pitch. I'm just sharing with you what I want. But if you are interested, hit the link in the bio. Um, so that was like the second thing I really did is start looking at the macro. The third thing I did was pray on it. And I know it's like so crazy. I don't know if you're a spiritual person or not, but I started praying on it a lot more. And prayer is a big part of my life. I love just praying to God. I love saying thank you. I love just asking for guidance. And what started naturally happening is like I started, getting more clarity. This prayer started bringing a lot of clarity of like, oh, maybe it's time to transition into something. And that's really how life works, right? Life is this beautiful, you can't plan it. It's just this ball of like seemingly chaos, but somehow so organized. And I feel like sometimes when you get this feeling of burnout or heaviness, um, it would be a mistake to call it laziness. But what it actually is maybe your soul is telling you something. It's time to move on, right? It's time to do something different. It's time to start exploring other areas of your consciousness or your life, or something needs to change. And I've learned in life like not to ignore that feeling, right? So I started praying on it more. I started saying like, thank you, God, so much for everything. And just, God willing, you just guide me in the highest way possible. And, may I find just peace and rest in you. And I just started saying these little prayers. And honestly, it's been bearing beautiful fruit. Energetically speaking, I've started feeling a lot lighter, a lot calmer, a lot more grounded. And even though the mind and body is tired, it's like totally okay. Like it can be there, right? Even in my peace, I can still experience tiredness. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much how I've been approaching burnout. I wanted to hop on this week's podcast and just talk about that a little bit and offer you guys some tidbits that have really been helping me through my process at the moment. And yeah, dude, you're not lazy. Nothing's like wrong with you. Just start to pull back the reins a little bit, right? Start to take bird's eye view of situations. Sometimes like our emotions aren't so obvious to us. They don't come with clear answers. So you have to dig a little bit. You have to do some introspection so that you can see clearly what's going on in your own psyche, what's going on in your own consciousness. All right. Um, yeah, it takes time too. So don't rush yourself because don't feel this panic. I need to change something now. Like, don't approach it with panic. Like, start meditating a little bit. start grounding yourself, start bringing yourself back into the present moment. And just with that simple exercise of meditating, you're going to start to see that, oh, I'm becoming more clear inside, right? I have more clarity. And the answers are already inside you, but you just got to give them some space and time to arise and to see them clearly. But that's all I have for you today. I hope you take this and you use it well. And I hope you get all the rest you need because you deserve it. All right. My name is Muhammad, and I will see you later. Peace.